off mode like tips here. In today's video, we're going to be learning about string methods. So first, a quick recap. Strings are basically just characters that you can put inside a double quotation or a single quotation or a triple quotation of any of the types. As that, you can just like write stuff in them, anything that you really want, right, including numbers. And after that, you can also put them onto the terminal using print. After that, using the output. And after that, boom, get this. As we also learned that you can put them inside variables. So if I have a variable x, as that I can print out the x, it will still print out the same thing, except it's just going to be inside a variable instead. Now we need to talk about functions. A function in Python is basically just a piece of code that has a specific name that can call in a specific thing. For example, we have a function that is called write, and also just saying how you call stuff in programming is just like you write it out, you type it in. As that, you have a function called write. As that, you can put stuff inside here. As I write it out, as you can see, you have to get something specific to call it. You have to write something specific to call it, right? And after that, it is something specific, which is writing stuff out. So I'm going to teach you one of the functions that are built into Python, which is called len. Now len actually applies to everything beyond strings and stuff like that, like to list in dictionaries, when we eventually learn about them. And len basically just counts in essence. So let's do a little experiment, right? If we take the len function all around this variable x, what do you think will happen? Okay, well I'm going to run it now, and as you can see, well, now if you're confused about what this does, I'll explain it for you. So basically in Python, whenever you want to count something, right? Python has this way of looking at stuff like this, right? It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how it indexes all these characters. Python sorts all these characters out using whole numbers. So it starts from 0 and as it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a common beginner mistake to think that it starts at 1, right? So as you see, as you write this all out, right, as I just think this is like 10 and 12, right, you can actually see that this is 12 right here, because even though there are 13 different characters, it starts at 0, right? But the Python is 12 characters long, technically, according to Python. So this is very useful in programming whenever you want to count specific things or a specific like data set, as you get into that later. Now after that, we'll talk about methods. So method in Python is still a function, except it applies to specific stuff. For example, a specific function like a method will only apply to a certain type of object, which is an object-oriented programming, which we'll also get into that vocab later. But basically, it's a function that only applies to certain stuff. Now, let's take an example of this. So, our first one is called dot upper. Now, basically, what this does is that it just makes everything inside here all uppercase. So you go dot upper right here. After that, you see these two lowercase. Well, they should be capitalized. As you can see, they are capitalized. The H and the K are capitalized now, as you can see. So what's that? I also have another function called dot lower, and unsurprisingly, it just makes all the uppercase letters into lowercase. Now, before we move on, I just want to touch on something important here. Just because these things appear to edit the variables doesn't mean the actual variable is affected. For example, if you go here, if you go here, as I print this out, right? As you see, it's still unaffected. It's just the output looks different. The actual variable has not changed unless you equal it to it. So, another thing is find. Now this is very useful. Let's say you want a program that wants to find something within the string, right? Well, this find function, method, is perfect for this. Basically, all I have to do is type in the string, and let's say you want to look for 462, right? After that, if you print this out, it will say 0. Now, if I were wondering, what does this mean? Well, basically, it means that I found this 462, the beginning of it, had index 0 right here. I see there's a 462 right here, and we told it to find 462, and found it at index 0 here. As you can see, this is true. So what if we put something that's false, like 463? As you can see, you have no 463 here. So you run this, it'll give you -1. And that's because it can't find it. So there's also the replace function. And not too difficult to discern what it is. It basically just replaces stuff within the string. After that, you can go replace. After you want to name the thing you want to replace in the first thing right here. After you separate it with a column, after you replace it, something that you want here. After that, as you can see, instead of 462 over here, I actually have 463 over here. And now, you might think that it only changes that one thing, but it's actually a universal change across the string, and every 462 will change to a 463, as you can see here. As I said, we also still have more, but those are not really worth talking about. But if you are really curious, that's that, you'll see all of these over here. There's a bunch of different methods that are associated with strings. You can find out these are methods because in this calculator, it will say method right here, and it will say this specifically for strings. Stars is short for strings, right? Now, as that, there's one more thing I'll show you, and that is dot title. Now, what this does is, well, it just titles it. So, there's actually, I'm going to make a new string, and let's say it's like happy birthday, right? Well, with the dot title, every lowercase letter that's separated by space becomes capitalized. So you see, this is now titled happy birthday now, as you can see. Now, we're going to get something that's not necessarily a method, but still very useful, and that is the in syntax. Now, the in syntax is a boolean, okay? It's a boolean method, and basically what that means is that it will produce a boolean value, which from last time you learned is basically just true and false. So, using this, you basically have a form of find that'll tell you whether it's true or false because it's boolean. So let's say that we want to find happy inside the string. Now we print happy in X. After that, what we'll do is it'll try to find the string happy within this variable X, right? As that was funny. And we'll say true because it has found the string happy inside of this variable X over here. That's that. If you don't put something that is inside of X, then you get a false. Now, this is not just only for like string stuff like that. It's used widely in Python, and it's used in many different stuff like dictionaries, lists, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, that's my lesson today. Basically, just how to manipulate strings, and this can be used dynamically to make your programs better. So now we'll get onto the challenge. Into the problem. So first, I could make a variable called word. I said to input in order to get input from the user. As that, you ask the user, "What is your word?" Question mark. As that, boom. Then after that, we just need to get print here. After that, oh no, comma on there, or else I'll actually print out. After that, we do dot upper for uppercase. After that, we do print word dot lower for lowercase. After that, we just need to do for title case, and that's through title. And finally, we just need to get the length of the word, which you can use the len function. After that, boom. So now if you run it, I'm going to put in Python, just so that you can see it in action. As you can see, this is all uppercase, this is all lowercase, and this was written in title case correctly, and this word is indeed 6 characters long. So this is the solution. You can, if I have any questions, you can comment down below. But yeah, this is the solution to the problem. Hi everybody, thank you for watching today's lesson. I hope you learned a lot from it. If you could consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a lot.